Merry Christmas, everyone. It is the Achieve Greatness Business Edition with a Christmas show. So I am so excited to have this guest on tonight. We are in our pajamas. We are going to be drinking some hot cocoa, having some chat, and knowing how to get certain things right. So I am excited for this evening. And I want for all of you to make sure you join us. Invite a friend, like, share, comment, do what you do great. Just make sure everybody is on. And if you catching the replay, thank you so much for joining me this evening or whenever you're catching it. So I look forward. I absolutely look forward to for you joining us and for everything else we will continue to experience. See you soon.
Here at MBA, we try to help you be your best. So join Rita Collins as we join to make your business a success. I see you starting out your business, you seem kinda lost. So come and visit our page and we'll help you be a boss. We'll guide you and support you with new exciting strategies. Join us at MBA, don't let it be a tragedy. We offer help, we offer class. From now we'll start with a little bright sweat. But don't have to stress, just do your best. With us on your side, you'll learn to maximize.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming on in. Hello, Michelle. Girl, thank you for coming in and chatting, and it's going to be a great one. So thank you so much for joining. Definitely, if you are on, comment, like, share. Make sure you make this comment because it's going to be a great one tonight. I have a commercial actress with me this evening, y'all. I said it, commercial actress up in here. Yes, and we are going to have some fun. Hey, Iris, how you doing? Thanks for joining this evening. And we are going to have some fun in our pajamas, drinking hot cocoa, and just going over a couple of different things. And I think I'm going to bring out my inner actress in me that used to, do drama ministry and some acting and stuff like that a long time ago. So I'm going to bring out that inner part of myself as I bring in and introduce this amazing, amazing guest, Diamandi Devereaux from Getting in Character. Hey, Diamandi, how are you?
Hi, Rita. Thank you for having me. Hi, everyone.
Yes, so I'm excited overall. Of course, more people are going to be joining us as time go on. And I'm just wanting to, get through this whole process of what does it mean to be a commercial actress, right? What do you have to commit to, your time, just for those who end up taking this as a profession. But before we do all of that, I would love for you to answer me one good question. And that is to tell us about yourself, where you're from, things you love to do, your favorite memory as a child, all of that good stuff.
Whoa. Okay. Well, before we get into that, I wanted to introduce my special guest, Lydia. And as you can see, we have matching Christmas pajamas. She's such a good sport.
Right? Oh, look at that. I love it. I love it. Hello. I absolutely love it. So, so cute. Awesome.
Okay, I'm sorry. You asked me 25 questions. By the way, I have my hot cocoa, so shout out to everyone who brought their cocoa. Or my friend Sue, hey to Sue, if you're watching, she said she didn't have hot cocoa, but she had wine. I said, that'll work just fine.
Yep, wine. Look, whatever you want to drink, listen, right here, we having that conversation right now. So I got mines here, but I wanted you to basically tell us a little bit about yourself. So the question is, really, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, things you love to do, perhaps your best memory as a kid.
Okay.
I know, there's a whole lot in one.
That's okay. Hi again. My name is Diamandi. I live in New Jersey, and I'm from New Jersey, but I grew up mostly in Georgia. So sometimes people say I have a Southern twang. Sometimes it comes out, and sometimes I say y'all, but I'm nicer to people than people typically are from the Northeast, and it's because I grew up in Georgia. So
Down south southern hospitality.
yes, yes. So yeah, I've been modeling for like since 2007, however long that is. I used to say 10 years because it was an even number, but it's definitely been more than 10 years.
Yeah, yeah,
Um I love to read and hang out with my family and friends, but other than that, I'm all of my hobbies other than reading, yeah, they all revolve around work. I'm always like coming up with ideas and setting up these shoots at home.
hmm
Yeah, I just love doing creative and crafty things, but I guess modeling and acting is so all encompassing that whenever I pick up something, I bring it into my business, if that makes sense. So it's kind of
yeah.
hard to separate the two, but at least everything I do is fun. So
Listen, and that is extremely important. The more you do it, all you got to do is have fun, right? And
yeah.
that makes so much sense when you're doing it. So, with you being an actress and a model, right? How did
Mhm.
you get into the career as being a model? What was that like for you? And how did
I,
you start that?
mhm. I did one pageant when I was in high school, and I heard these girls talking about this place where they wear all these prom dresses, and I was like, "What?" So they weren't talking to me, but they were
Mhm.
talking loud enough for me to hear them. So when I got home, I looked it up, and I've been modeling ever since.
Oh, wow. So, what was your first modeling gig?
You know, this illustrates a good point. Sometimes I feel like we have experiences, bad experiences, and we think it's bad. But
Mhm.
my first experience on a modeling job was the best experience you could possibly have. And so it set the bar so high, everything was down from that. It was actually a fashion show for, um, like when you go to a college and you see the branded sweats they have there and
Yeah,
other
yeah.
stuff.
Mhm.
So there's like one or two companies that make everything and just put different university names on it. So it was kind of like for a company that brands these items for colleges. So it
Nice.
was the best gig ever. Number one, because we didn't have to wear shoes. And
Hello.
when
Listen.
you're a model, your feet always hurt. Okay.
Yeah, I
And
can imagine.
other reason was they let us keep the clothes. And
Oh,
that almost never happens also. It was a dream job. And
yeah.
of course we got paid, of course.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you want to make sure you get paid, especially when it comes down to you acting and modeling and whatever else it may be, right?
Well,
So,
your job, yeah,
yeah, yeah, especially as that being your job, right? You want to make sure you have enough coming in. So that makes so
absolutely.
much sense. Yeah. So, one of the things too, with you getting all the way into this field and things like that, and you getting into the acting, why did you? I mean, getting into the modeling, why did you start becoming a commercial actress? And how did you start that?
Um, well, like most models, I started in fashion because when you think about modeling, most people think about fashion.
Hmm
And so that's what I did. I wanted to do print work. Like I always wanted to be that girl on the Gap poster.
hmm
But even when I was like at my smallest, I was a size 4'6",
hmm
and print models are between really a 0 and a 4.
Oh, wow.
They're never sixes. So my 4'6" wasn't gonna cut it. So you just kind of end up once you start seeing, the kind of money you can make on the commercial side and
Mhm.
the qualifications aren't as stringent, it's
Yeah.
just like the everyday person. But it's not for everyone. If you have a really exotic look, it may be harder for you to do commercial work.
hmm
But I have a super plain look, and so it works.
So you can, and what do you mean by that? Is that so that you can be versatile in different images, or like what is that when you have a plain look versus a
Okay.
exotic look?
Um, so my particular brand is like the girl next door, all grown up.
Hmm
So it's like the young mom, the teacher, the friendly teacher, the nurse, those kind of roles. And so I have a friend, a really good friend. She is beautiful.
hmm
She's from Nigeria. She has high cheekbones and she's bald. Sometimes she's bald, sometimes her hair is cut really, really low.
hmm
It would be really hard for her. Like, typically, you don't see someone that looks like her, like in a pharmaceutical ad or even an ad selling, dishwashing detergent. Things are changing a little bit, but there's just kind of a perception, and it's all made up. It's all things that humans made up. It's nothing real.
Yeah.
But that's just the way the industry is for now.
Got you. Got you. So that's good to know, especially if someone wants to break into that mode, right? Like what look would it give them when it comes down to whether or not, like in your case, you would be the girl next door, right?
Exactly.
The teacher, the young mom, the whatever, that those particular industries are looking for, right? So what would my look be? Do you know? Maybe?
You would be great as like, and don't take this the wrong way. Sometimes it's hard to talk to people about types because people get offended. Like if someone says you look like a drug dealer, listen, you ride that all the way to the bank. It doesn't matter. So anyway, your look would be really good as like maybe not a housewife, but a mom in the home showing different things. So doing laundry, soap products, and that is a huge business. Huge, like soap operas. You know why they're called soap operas?
Yeah.
Because the ads to pay for them was selling soap. That's how much money soap makes.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yes.
I didn't think about that. Oh, my goodness. So I could put on a workout outfit and then sell a water bottle and be like, hello.
That too? Yeah, that kind of gets more on the fashion side. It gets
fashion? Okay. Yeah, I'm not on the fashion side. So it's very interesting when you have like these different cookie cutter type of industries for your style, your fashion, your face, what you're looking to get into. So that's pretty interesting for those who want to do that area of business for, acting, especially if you're a male or female, depending on what that may be. So that's really interesting though. Hey, Kwanda, how you doing? Thanks for joining us, girl. Oh, hey, Crystal. Thank you for joining us, supporting Diamandi. Hello.
Hey, Crystal. Thanks for joining.
Yes. So, all right, cool. Now, I know I asked you before this, right, to teach me some stuff, right? So I would love for you to teach me some things of what I could, learn, especially if, with having to get into character, basically. And then we're going to talk about getting into character and why you started it, how you started it, all those great things too.
Yeah, sure. Before we talk about that, though, I just wanted to mention because I feel like wanting to work in entertainment is like a weird thing. Number one, if you do it, you have to be crazy because you have to say no to a lot of things that really look good, like stability, a pension, benefits, Yeah. So even though we're going to be talking about like modeling stuff, I just like to point out that one of the things I learned from modeling is it's not, people kind of down modeling, like it's not a real career and, it doesn't take anything to do it. But one thing I've learned is it teaches you skills that you can take into any other area of life. For instance, presentation skills, putting your best foot forward, making a great first impression. Yeah. So much of that is in the entertainment industry. And a lot of people, they don't get that training because they're focused on other things, which is fine. So even, I like to say, even if you don't want to take on modeling as a career, I hope you take something from this conversation so that, you feel more confident in your corporate headshots or you feel like you have better lighting on your Zoom calls.
Yeah.
That's something to keep in mind.
Awesome. So that's absolutely great. And so let's talk about that just a little bit more, right? Like when it comes down to, you're feeling great about your presentation and things like that. So what are some of the things like that we need to feel great about when it comes down to our headshots or when it comes down to, presentations for a job, how we present ourselves, if we are business owners and we're looking for proposals for something new or different and got to write something because, we're looking for funding to do something that we want to do or put something for the bank, give something to the bank. How does that basically affect your information? How will it affect us as we move forward as business owners?
Sure. One good thing is to use the resources that you have. A lot of people say, like I have someone I used to work with that I respect very much, and he would always say, your network is your net worth. And people always talk about, oh, it's not about what you know, it's who you know. And it's not that that's not true necessarily. However, I've seen people get really discouraged and think that they can't do something because they feel like they don't have the network or the connections.
Yeah.
The point isn't that you need to have something. The point is more to, how do I say this? To use what you have. Like,
Yeah.
use the connections you have. And if you don't know someone, start making some calls until you get introduced to that person. So there's not something that you have to have going in.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I feel like we go, so let's say you want, Alicia's over here making noises. Let's say that you want a certain, you're applying for a grant for your business and you really want this grant.
Yeah.
You may consider it a failure if you don't get the grant, but what did you learn in the process? You probably learned a lot about grant writing. You learned how to do some things you didn't do. You probably did some things that you never thought you could do, like grant proposals. I've never written one, but I think they're really long, like really, really long.
Yeah, they are pretty extensive.
So things like that. It's not always about the outcome, but what did you learn along the way? And that goes back into acting because, you know, you can go on so many auditions and get no. But that doesn't mean that you're not successful. You could have been on Broadway. You could have been on a network TV. You could have been in a blockbuster movie. But once that movie or TV show ends, you're out looking for the next thing.
Yeah.
And it's just the way it is. There's so many people, and just in life in general, so many people vying for these coveted spots that are considered so prestigious. So there's just a lot of competition, but you can get so much out of maybe smaller opportunities where you have more of an opportunity to work with people one-on-one. Whereas if there are a lot of people around, let's say a project with a lot of people, you're not going to get a lot of one-on-one time with, you know, maybe someone that can mentor you because they're talking to so many other people at the same time. So I just hope that people see that in any experience, you can learn something, even if you did not get your ultimate goal. It got you closer to something, and you know something now that you didn't know before, and you've picked up a skill, or you've tightened up a skill that you had before.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good because we often think that we have failures. And one of the things that I like to really emphasize is that we don't have failures, we have learning experiences, right? So, like you said, what did you learn? And so it's not a thing that you are a failure, but hey, what did you learn? Even though that thing was a no, it doesn't mean that you are inadequate or anything in that manner. So that's absolutely great. I think that's absolutely great. All right, awesome. So what would you teach me this evening?
Okay, I made a list.
Yeah.
I thought we could talk about how to take a good photo, and also about lighting, how to find good lighting, which goes into taking a good photo, but that's a whole different subject also. So again, in terms of corporate headshots,
And you don't have a professional photographer, right?
Say that again.
This is if you do not have a professional photographer, right?
Well, you bring up a good point. So I actually made a list of why you should even care about this topic for people that aren't necessarily interested, or they feel like this isn't their thing. Hey, Joyce. Alicia says hi. Thank you so much for joining.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Joyce.
Okay. So budget. Okay. So let's say you don't have a budget for a photographer. You're probably going to be bootstrapping it until you get one. You know, with your cell phone, you may have a DSLR, or I had a DSLR and I did not know how to use it to the point the photos are so bad I went back to using my cell phone. So it's hard to use those things, especially if you want to take it off of automatic mode. So that's one instance. Also, listen, just because you hire someone doesn't mean they know what they're doing, and doesn't mean they're going to understand your vision. So you may need to kind of direct the photographer to do what you want if they're not getting it, especially if you're paying someone. You want to lead making sure you're satisfied. So sometimes you just have to take the reins. So knowing a little bit about lighting, positioning, backgrounds, that kind of thing can help you bring out the outcome that you want if the professional isn't quite as good. And then the last thing is Testing. So every time I have an idea, I test it. And this is really applicable if you have a small business, because sometimes, like, I'm a very visual person. So if I have to explain something to someone, like, I feel bad for all of you listening to this right now because I'm explaining it to you with words instead of showing you. It doesn't come off as well. So, like I said, anytime I have a project or an idea, I do a test. If it's a photo shoot, I set it up and I do a test and I shoot it in my pajamas. And then, I may show it to a few people, tighten it up a little bit, and then I'll come. That's like the dress rehearsal, and then I'll come do it for real. So in your business, if you have an idea, especially if you're hiring a photographer or an ad agency or really putting some money behind it, it's an excellent idea to test it first so you can not just tell people your concept, but you can show it to them and they'll really get it. So they're basically either going to be copying what you said you wanted or bringing their expertise to your idea and elevating it.
Yeah. And so why would that be important? Like, essentially, why would that be important, knowing that?
Well, listen, when you spend money, especially money on marketing and advertising, it is a lot of money. And also time is money. So if you're spending all of your time explaining your concept to someone when you're on set, then you're going to have less time actually creating the material, because photographers typically they work by the hour. And even if they tell you get like 1 look or 2 looks, they are basing that on a time period. Like, okay, let's say if she books me for 2 looks, that's going to take 1 hour. So if you go over that time, you're going to be done. Well, best case scenario, they charge you more. Worst case scenario, they have a booking behind you and you don't have time to get what you want.
Yeah. It makes so much sense. And so when it comes down to the visuals, right? I know one of the things that you said is that you like to, basically show people examples or whatnot. And so I wanted to go in here and, of course, show the example of your, YouTube channel.
Oh, that's so cool that you can do that. Man, I should have sent you some stuff to put up.
Oh, yeah, right. I could have definitely did that. Yep. And had these
next time.
Yes, next time, definitely. So what was one of the things, like right here in your YouTube, you did, you're a very visual person. And of course, on your YouTube channel, you have your Vlogmas. I'm always saying it a certain way. Your Vlogmas stuff here, right? That you basically talk about and that you highlight.
Yeah.
And so tell us why the visuals were, of course, just very important. Hold on. I'm trying to go to your playlist, and I have this set of playlists. I want to play all.
Welcome to the very first Vlog Day!
That one, clearly, I did not test. I was like, oh, I have to get this done. But actually, if you could play one of the very first videos, that was an example of something that I tested and then shot.
All right.
It might be the one with that clock. I'm looking on my phone. It's so small.
The clock here?
Yes. Can you click on that one?
All right.
Okay, you can stop it there.
Talk about versatile looks.
Only the first one with me. Everything else was the Reface app. So that's an example of an idea I had like 2:00 in the morning. And I was like, Diamandi, you have to go to sleep. So instead of shooting it then, I wrote it down in a notebook. I wrote down each scene. And then when I got up the next morning in my pajamas, I was so excited. As soon as I woke up, I remembered that I had this idea the night before. And I filmed the whole thing in my pajamas.
Oh, how fun.
And it worked. And so then I reshot, and that was just clip. It was a skit. I'm sorry. I didn't know how to tell you how to find it because I don't remember what it was called, but it was like the second video I ever posted. Yeah, but that's an example of something I tested. I had never filmed a skit before and put scenes together like that and like weird stuff. I had the phone under my bed. I didn't know if it was going to work. I was just trying some things.
Yeah, so testing definitely is important when you think about it, because if we don't test certain things, then it's like, well, how will we know what works for us, right? How will we get that experience, that understanding, that right type of guidance and direction, right? Of knowing really our flow, right? And that's something very important. And I know one of the things that you mentioned before was taking the glare, for example, out of your glasses, right? Like, I can't tell you the amount of videos, the pictures, and everything that I have seen where there is just a huge, huge glare in people's glasses. And it's just a very huge distraction when it comes down to watching them on the camera, especially if they have community. So how do you take the glare out of your glasses when you are doing these lives and you want your light to be good and everything else? Because I need to know. Let's see.
So these are blue light blocking glasses. I just got them. And so the easiest, quickest way, this works whether you're doing photo or video. You just tilt your face down. And you may have to move around a little bit until the glare is gone. You don't want to be like down in your chin. But so I'm in the kitchen and there is a lamp right here. So if I look up, like this is probably the way I would normally look. It's reflecting the light, but if you tilt down a little bit, just eyes.
All right. So what does that say for the positioning of your light as well?
So that's another way you can do it actually. So for instance, right now, the light is in front of me. Something else you could do, and what I wanted to mention is the difference between, sorry, I'm going to take these off because it's weird. The difference between bounce and diffusion.
Okay.
So you could also bounce light. So if you, a lot of people will be in front of a white wall if you're at your computer, or maybe not white, but let's say your computer is in front of a wall. You can actually take a light from behind you, shine it on a wall. It needs to be a light color, preferably white, and it will reflect all of that light back onto you evenly. But because it's not a single light source and like it's not a bright light, it's being diffused, you shouldn't get the glare on your glasses because there's nowhere for it to glare from.
Oh, that's very interesting. Like, oh, so that works.
So that's something you can do. And then, so that's bouncing the light. Diffusing the light is when you shine it through something like, I just bought a frosted shower curtain. It's kind of, I won't say it's tricky, but it takes a little bit more setup, but that's an option too. Actually, curtains are the same. If you have like some sheer gossamer curtains, you can shine the light through there and it diffuses. Like in my room, I prefer to shoot with natural light. I rarely use like studio lights or anything. I have some and I hate them because natural light is just always superior.
Oh yeah, natural light is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, so I have blinds and then I have sheer curtains on top. So if it's a gloomy day, I pull up the blinds and I take away the sheer curtain. But if it's a day where the sun is strong and a little too strong in hot spots, so hot spots are where the light is really strong in one area, but dark in the other areas. So I just put the sheer curtains down and then it makes the light softer and more even over everything.
Oh, that makes so much sense when you break it down like that, because
that's another example.
Yeah, because you want your stuff to be really even, you know?
Exactly.
And it's just like, you know, sometimes you have like these dark patches and everything like that. So, yeah, you're welcome, Joyce. Listen, Joyce, I thank you for the tips on the glasses. He wears glasses and this has been an issue of his. So you done help solve the brother's issues. Listen, that's what
I'm so glad.
It's about. Yeah, Susan said, thanks for the info and great tips. That's right. That's awesome. So those are things to definitely think about when it comes down to your glasses, because in such a world where, of course, you have to wear glasses, you either decide not to wear them, right? Or you want to, you can't see when you're looking at your computer. Right. So then like, okay, well, do I now, given that I have to be in front of people, not wear them, maybe get all confused about what I'm seeing? So this is absolutely great, you know, so you can basically be able to help. And then Susan said, in regards to the glasses, I have a pair of the blue light glasses. So Susan, how do those work for you? The blue light glasses, how have they worked for you? Let us know. We'd love to hear or read it at the comments below. So that's absolutely awesome because it's so important to have good light and not look all dark and things. I think it messes with the visuals and the views when you are presenting, when you're going live, and all those other things. So awesome. Thank you for that, because it was definitely very helpful.
Yes. I didn't know if you wanted me to go down the list I made.
Yeah, go ahead.
I made a little list. So I think we already talked about why headshots are important, or did we?
Yeah, for the most part. Yep, we talked about why they're important.
We talked about how to get the go for glasses. Okay, for posing, body position. Sometimes I feel like I need to relearn things. And so for headshots, have you ever noticed, like, it doesn't really matter. Anytime you get a headshot, the photographer is like telling you to do these weird things with your body. They're like, okay, turn this way, and then turn your head this way, and then tilt your head this way. No, back this way. But the reason to do that with your body is if you take a photo straight on, I mean, a lot of times you look like a linebacker, right? So if you just tilt your body a little bit and then turn your head toward the camera, hey.
Tilt your body.
Super simple. It doesn't have to be a drastic angle like that, but even angling the body a little bit, it brings a lot of depth and more interesting. It makes the photo a little bit more interesting. So that's one little tip.
Awesome.
Okay. One thing most models, oh, sorry. I pulled Alicia's hair by accident. She has so much of it. One thing most models end up learning and mastering is lighting. It is so important. And I do feel like a hypocrite now because my lighting isn't that great because I'm in the kitchen because I'm in the studio. But my mom does a lot to help me out, so I try to help her out when I can.
That's being a good daughter. Listen, a good daughter.
Yeah. So, okay, lighting. So, what you doing? The most important thing is to find your key light, and that is a photography term. So there may be, for instance, in the kitchen, there are 3 lights. There's one above me, one above the butcher block, and one over the sink. So even though there are 3 lights in the room, my key light is this light right in front of me because it's giving me the most light. Okay. So you always want to know where your key light is, and you're going to keep your face toward it. Pretty much always. The only exception to that is if you're doing something like creative and artistic where, I don't know, you're showing a hairstyle or you're trying to be cute and you want to like show people your back.
Yeah.
But otherwise, anytime you're doing a headshot or anything where you want people to see your face, you always keep your face toward the main light. Okay. Always, always.
And if it's natural light, then of course toward the natural light.
Oh, sure. Yeah, like if it's a window, most of the time I shoot right in front of my window. And so I have 2 windows actually, but the main light, one is over my bed. So obviously the window over my bed isn't the main light because the bed is in the way. So if I want to get good light, I go to the other window. So the other window is my key light and the secondary window is other light. I don't know what that technical term is for light that's not the key light, but the window without the bed would be the key light.
Okay, awesome. And we had a question here from Crystal. What's the best way to pose for online posting?
Pose. Well, I guess it depends on what you want to show. Like, do you want to show? A lot of times when we post online, I mean, sometimes it's like a selfie or a headshot, but other times it's, me and my dog or me and my mug sipping some coffee. Every time I put my cup up, her nose comes forward. No, you cannot have any hot chocolate. Yeah, so it's always good. Another modeling tip is to know your focus and play to that. A lot of times when you see a bad photo, one of the reasons it's bad is because like it doesn't have a focus. It's all over the place. Yeah. So like if Alicia and I are in a photo and I really wanted you to see her, I would make sure she's in the front and she's well lit because the photo is about her. Everything else is kind of adding to the scenery. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes so much sense, especially with us living in this digital world right now more than ever. So, and then Crystal asks, do we want lots of angles? Head, like head to the sides?
Yeah. I don't think I put this on the list, but this is a really good point. Okay, now let me do like I told you and turn back to the side. Okay, so one really good way to get your angle on, and if Sue is still here, she is masterful at this, is to just keep moving in your poses. If you want to be a good poser, no pun intended, keep it moving. So let's say we start here. You're going to constantly just keep moving. And the slower you do it, the better, because how do I say? You could make the photo blurry unintentionally. So let's say you're even taking a photo with friends. This is what a lot of people do. And I look at them and I just shake my head. They go, no, go, I'm ready. But you look crazy. And the longer it takes for the person to take the picture, the crazier you look, because your eyes start, to bulge and your expression gets stale. So if you're waiting for someone, this is how I would do
it. Like just simple little
very slight movements. It just keeps your expression from getting stale. I tried to study people and figure out what makes it look so bad. And I guess part of it is part of your expression falls. So let's say you're still smiling. Your smile may start to fall, or your eyes may start to droop. So let's say you're here. Right? That's what starts to happen. You go from this to.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden your eyes are dead and you look not crazy, but just not as appealing.
And then you look through all your pictures and you're like,
Yeah, you're like, oh, why is my face like that?
Yeah, you're like, don't use that one. Delete it.
Oh, thanks, Sue. She said I nailed it. Listen, Sue is the queen of the posing, okay?
Listen, I don't
know. Half of everything I know.
Maybe we should have Sue come up on in here. I'm just
saying. Definitely have Sue.
You camera ready, Sue? You can come on down if you want. You camera ready, boo? Listen, we can bring you right on in the StreamYard in the back. So, but that's absolutely great to know that, because again, with us living in this tech world, and even with talk of this vaccine and different things of that nature, right? Even still, it's going to be a long time before things roll out. And by the time the world kind of gets back to normal-ish, right? Not right. Probably will go back to normal. We'll have like probably a new normal. We're still going to be in this world where camera, television, TV, all that stuff is still of vast importance, right? And so how we take our shots and what they look like are going to be very important. Sue gave us some eyes.
One other thing I could show you when we were talking about lighting is how to find good light. Because sometimes you might be thinking like, oh, is it that one or is it this one? There is a simple way to do it. And I've even seen photographers or videographers use their phone to do the same thing. So I'm going to, Aleti is so glad to be released. So I'm picking up my phone. So literally all you do is move the camera around. So if we started out over here, I might be like, dog. I'd be like, it's okay, but it could be better. So if you just move around a little bit, better. There we go. Now that's like shoot ready lighting. Excuse my refrigerator and spices. So you can literally take your phone, hold it steady in front of you, and stand where you are and turn in a circle until you find where the good light spot is. And then you can, move closer to it or away from it. But that's the easiest way to quickly find your good light.
Yeah. Oh, well, awesome. No, that's absolutely great, because I didn't know that. I was like, oh, just put the light on my face and I'll be good to go. And that's what's needed. So we'll be straight. But if you don't have that type of light, that's really good to find that. Just look for that natural light within your home, within your house, or wherever that may be at the time. So that's absolutely awesome.
Yeah, or if it's a time like now, we're doing this video in the evening, there is no natural light. So you
Yeah.
just have to find your best artificial light source. And
Mhm.
once you find a place, especially in your home, you can go back to that spot over and over again. So that's a little easier. But let's say you're on vacation with friends, you're at a business lunch, and you see someone you haven't seen in a long time, and you want to get a photo.
Yeah.
That's an instance where you might want to take your phone, go around in the circle, and find the good light spot.
Like, no, that's great. I didn't think about that. So that's absolutely good to know because again, I just didn't think about that. And Susan said, yes, good info. Yes, Susan, that is.
Thanks, Sue.
Awesome. And so one more thing, because I do want to ask you, what are you doing for the holidays and Christmas gifts and all those other things too, as we celebrate the season and how you're getting ready for 2021, right? For the new year. And behind this, it says Merry Christmas and Happy New Year 2021, people. If you just see Merry and you see 2021, it's Merry Christmas and Happy New Year for the 2021 year. So one more thing that I believe you were going to teach me. And then after that, let's find out what you're doing for the holiday season and how you're prepping and getting ready for 2021.
Okay, sure. Was it, I'm sorry. Do you want me to go back over my list or did you have something in mind specifically?
Oh, I thought, were we done your list?
Hang on 1 second, I'll check. I feel like there was one thing. Man, I feel like we hit everything. The only other thing, although we kind of talked about that, confidence. Oh, we didn't talk about backgrounds.
Oh, yeah.
Backgrounds. Some of this is about background and some of this is about lighting. The number one rule, again, there are exceptions to the rule. We were trying to do something artistic, but listen, if you start in a business and you're just trying to get yourself out there, you probably aren't making some Wes Craven, Johnny Depp type stuff. Okay. You want people to see you. You want people to see your product. Mm-hmm. So the rule of thumb is to make sure there's always more light in front of you than behind you, or in front of your subject than behind it. So let's say I made this mug. Mm-hmm. Okay. Another example is I'm taking a photo to update someone. They want a current shot. Always more light in front of you, more light in front of the mug. That's really one of the differences between a good photo and a great photo.
Yeah. Especially if you're selling the product, right?
Exactly. What happens is when there's more light behind the camera, it ends up adjusting the exposure. Mm-hmm. So it's going to turn down your background because the camera is saying, oh, that's too much light. Mm-hmm. But you need the light, or whatever the subject is in the front needs the light.
Yeah.
But the camera is adjusting for the bright light behind you.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad situation. Just make it work for you. Just turn yourself around so that you get the light. The light is in front of you and it's a little bit darker behind you if you can help it.
Yeah, it makes so much sense. Oh, awesome. Well, that's good. You got to get some good light and for your product, especially if you're selling it. Because I have one client who took amazing pictures of food that she sells. Uh-huh. I mean, it looks so good. I said, oh, your food will sell me every single time because the pictures are so good, right? They are absolutely great. And Crystal said, where should your camera be, behind or in front of a light source?
It depends on your setup. Sometimes if you put the light in front of your camera can see it. Even if it doesn't see the actual light fixture, it may be getting the light too strong, and you'll see the picture in your viewfinder get really fuzzy. But as soon as you remove the light, it goes away. So you can play around with it. You can't go wrong with putting the light behind the camera, but you may need more light on you or whatever the subject is. So if you need more light on you, you can put the light in front of the camera. Otherwise, you can never go wrong with putting the light behind the camera.
Got you. Awesome. Well, thank you. And so with that being said, what are your plans for the holiday season and how are you preparing for 2021?
I have a really boring answer. My mom and I will just be sitting at home, but one thing I'm working on is just continuing to put out social media content on Instagram and Facebook. And I'll also be putting some pitches together for getting in character, pitching brands to create content for them. For a lot of it will be social media, but they could use it for other purposes as well. So actually I'm wearing, well, we already talked about wearing pajamas, but I actually shot in the pajamas I'm wearing right now. And I didn't shoot with the mug today, but I got this really cool. I love this thing so much. I know I keep talking about it, but it's because I love it.
Yeah.
It's a Christmas ball, like they call it a sipper. It's not a cup, right? Like a little sipper. And it's made out of glass. It's like the most sturdy thing. And it has little candy cane straws. So I did some shots outside with this today in my Christmas pajamas. So it may be too late to pitch brands for holiday content for this year, but I could still use it as a I could still use just good quality content to pitch brands for other seasons. So
yeah,
Valentine's Day, Easter, early 2021 winter. So that's a lot of what I'm doing now. And did I say we're just going to be hanging around the house for Christmas?
Yep. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong at all.
Nice and low key in our home that's Rona free,
Yeah, listen, everybody needs to be Rona free because nobody wants to deal with that. Not at all. And so here we have, of course, your Instagram, right? So you said you're going to be shooting some content. And that ball you just talked about is hello right here.
Yes. I love it. $3.99 at Aldi, y'all. Go get you one.
Oh, listen, love it. Awesome. And this is a good setup for your photo, right? You have some wording, some text for things like that. I think that's absolutely awesome. Of course, you have some treats around it. So, if the goal is something appealing and, to buy the ball, then this is great, right? Oh, nice little headshots of some other stuff. Oh, Rita's in there. So, but this is good. So, and look, behind the scenes setup would have never known that it was done on your porch, right?
Yep. On the porch, just with it being so gloomy.
Yeah.
During this season, I don't get good light inside in my studio area. And I told you I hate artificial light. So
yeah,
this is how passionate I am about natural light. I've been shooting out in the cold and it's been like 35, 40 degrees. Mm-hmm. I put on my coat. I test the light. That's actually one thing I started, keeping my coat on while I tested the light. Because before I would take it off, but I was like, no, put it back on.
Yeah.
Then, as soon as I get the shot ready, I'll throw it off.
And so this one here is also a good example, right? Where you're taking a picture outside. You mentioned about it being gloomy, but at the end of the day, like, look, it came out to be a really nice, dope picture. Even within the background, you were able to be a bright light within it.
It did. So this picture is a good example of when I was talking about having more light in front of you. Mm-hmm. So typically a gloomy day is good because it perfectly diffuses the light. So that means, the sun is way in space and the clouds are in the Earth's atmosphere, so very close to us on the ground.
Yeah.
And so it makes the lighting perfectly even.
Yeah.
But in this case, it was too bright behind me. And so when I first saw them, I was so disappointed. I was going to cry. But you know what? I just ended up moving myself. So obviously the bad photos aren't on here. But the closer I got to the camera, the more light the camera picked up on me. And it ended up working. So that's just an example of how you can navigate a bad lighting situation. Just move the subject closer to or farther away from the camera. If you're too bright, if your subject is too bright, move further away. If it's too dark, move closer.
Move closer. Oh, that's absolutely awesome. So for those of you who, of course, want to follow along with Diamandi, right, you can hit her up. I thought this one was pretty cool. On her Instagram page, right, where you can find more great content, how she works, how she gets into character, of course, utilizing the natural light, right, even some different shots and angles of just like the foot, the feet. And of course, here, her example was in her conversation. Remember, Blossom and Carissa explains it all. For those of you who were born in the early 90s, late 80s, you probably know them the most. But this was the example, of course, where she led with her photo. So the girl next door, right? Moving forward with her look, right? So that's absolutely awesome. But yeah, check out her Instagram page, y'all, and get connected with her a lot more. And of course, we already saw her YouTube page, but I'm going to reshare it again.
Oh, thank you.
If you want to see it again, or you came on just a little bit later, you can definitely check out, whoops, I got the same video up from before, her Instagram page with her different looks and things like that on there. So, whoops, I stopped sharing. I meant to go out of this particular page. So let me go out of the Instagram.
I hope you can't hear my mom's dog barking. She's upstairs, excited about something.
No, not at all. All right, so if you want to follow Diamandi here, it is Getting in Character, and she has a lot of information for you, especially if you're looking to level up or increase your, everything basically that you want to work on as far as your commercial acting, how you want to, have your pictures taken, maybe even doing these little fun covers for your YouTube channel. So basically being able to have those and how you upload them as well. She has a whole lot of stuff here. She has ones on wigs. If you want to know about the wigs and what they look like and how they create versatile looks. So she goes through all of that and goes through depth of education and information for you. So hit her up, look up everything, check it all out, and, keep it moving and getting in character.
Yes, thank you. Getting in Character is a brand I created this year, and it's everything. It's just anything I want to do because it's something I created.
Yeah.
So it's not always, actually, most of the time, it's never like the girl next door and the regular parts I play. That's like my bread and butter. So I keep that on my regular Instagram. But for Getting in Character, I do like the craziest thing I could possibly think of.
Yeah.
Just for something fun and different.
Yeah. To be able to be expressive. So that's absolutely amazing. So that's what we want to be able to do. We want to be able to be expressive within ourselves, right? And we have no idea how certain things will inspire other people in their brand as they build and as they do their thing. So that's absolutely awesome. All right. So do you have any last minute questions, teachings, or anything for us that you would like to share with the audience, or questions for me?
I just want to say thank you for having me. And if anyone has any lighting questions, or if you wanted to try something and ask me what I think of it, you can reach out to me through Instagram or Facebook, or my email is gettingincharacter@gmail.com. But if you just type in Getting in Character to any of the socials, you'll probably find it. More than happy to help. Sometimes it's like when you have good photos or when you feel like you're representing yourself well, it gives you like an extra confidence. It doesn't affect, your knowledge or anything like that, your actual experience, but just having a good presentation.
Yeah.
It's just a confidence booster. It makes you feel good. And when you feel good, sometimes you perform better. So
yeah, definitely. Awesome. And to get that job or next level up for whatever they need.
Yes.
So awesome. Well, thank you so much, Diamandi. It was a pleasure having you on the show. And I just ultimately look forward to potentially having you on again and doing some new stuff and something different, and just doing a whole recap of, how things have been going with you so far. So absolutely.
Thank you, Rita. I'd love to come back anytime. Thank you for the conversation and your hospitality and giving me an excuse to come on in my fun pajamas and drink my hot cocoa. This is my first cup of cocoa this winter.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you had it with me, girl. Yes.
Thank you.
Awesome.
And thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Yes, thank you for tuning in. Diamandi, you can stay on as we head off. So, all right, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Here at MBA, we try to help you be your best. So join Rita Collins as we join to make your business a success. I see you starting out your business, you seem kinda lost. So come and visit our page and we'll help you be a boss. We'll guide you and support you with new exciting strategies. Join us at MBA, don't let it be a tragedy. We offer help, we offer class. From now we'll start We'll start with a little bright sweat, but don't have to stress. Just do your best with us on your side. You'll learn to maximize